Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Great to have you guys coming back here. Truly appreciate from the bottom of my heart. And of course, my heart goes out to all my viewers, my subscribers. Thank you so much for your amazing support over the last 7-8 months. Our channel wouldn't be what it is right now without your continuous support, and I truly appreciate that, of course, from the bottom of my mind. Today, I just want to take some time out of my day. I have a pause at sort of stop what I'm doing with my work. I just want to get a couple watches out of my box and put it down. It's about offloading something off my chest. It is a great topic, and I can assure you, whether you are a seasoned collector or you are into the realm of Seikos or affordable watches, you will be benefiting from this topic, and I can guarantee. Because this topic represents the number one, if not the most, critical mistake that we all makes in today's world. And I think, especially over the last 5 years, of the number of options on the marketplace, the aggressiveness of every single watch brand, especially in the affordable segments between that sort of 500 to $1,000 US, are trying to capture your imagination and your attention to spend money on the new watch. Well, of course, helping with the ever-growing community of YouTube reviewers on the YouTube platform, channels that doing great jobs, that reviewing watches for what they are. Of course, carrying the spirits such as just one more watch. Watches are great, but guys, I truly believe we have to stop buying watches just for the sake of buying one more watch. Watches are tools. They are part of our life because they're going to enhance the quality of our life. Not to put additional pressure, because it is often being commented, and I receive a couple messages about from my subscribers and my viewers talking about, seems like there's a frustration going on behind the surface, that it seems like, myself included, that we're spending way more much time on pursuing the next watch for the sake of it. We're spending way too much time on Instagram, on YouTube, watching my videos, for example, or any other channels that you desire. Of course, when I'm saying too much, it's sort of creates a conflict between what is really important to you in your life, your work, your personal relationships, if you're still in school, your progress when it comes to your pursuits of your academic achievement. You're spending way too much money on your disposable income on watches, where you should probably put some money aside. Of course, we talk about today's economic environment where inflation is through the roof. Or should you put some money aside, for your future investment, or maybe even part of deposit for the next property or for your first property? I think we need to stop buying new watches just for the sake of buying them. Because we need to understand that need of buying more watches didn't come from us within ourselves. It often comes from external sources, such as, of course, YouTube reviewers. You come across an ad by the micro brand that's trying to sell you a watch because they claim that they have a cult following, they have the most advanced when it comes to specs, movements, or to somehow become the most innovative force in the horology. Our needs often comes from external sources as that. And if you dig deep, it often comes from envy and jealous of others because they have what you want. And I feel like on that topic, I almost owe you guys an apology. My collection over almost 24 watches. Last video that I made, the state of a collection, mid 2023. It was a great video. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I have a high sense of pride in what I do. For you guys, of course, for myself, I think I'm having great fun with my collection. But I once heard a wise man say something along with the most important thing in life is not to have the most, but is to actually need the least. Right? It's not to have the most, it's to need the least. Of course, the definition of least may be different to you, to me, to anyone else that's out there. To me, maybe that least is 24 watches, but that can change too in the future. But I don't want to create a concept that my subscribers, you, or you come into this hobby for the first time, you're buying your first watches and you get a kick out of it because you love how it looks, you love the design, the history, the movements, how they function, per your task in your day-to-day life, that somehow you want to capture, you want to grab the second watch. I don't want to do that for you, because that comes from an envy that you think the only way to enjoy a watch collection is to have a collection like Felix's, to have 24 watches. No, you don't. I'm here to tell you guys, my friends, you don't need 24 watches to enjoy a collection as much as I do. Sometimes going back to basics and the focus on the things that truly matters in your life is the right thing to do. I'm featuring a couple watches down here. I haven't even touched them today, right? We have, of course, we know the SRP 777, the Black Turtle, and the legendary XKX, the Pepsi Bezel 009. When it comes to divers, maybe those two watches are all you need. So capture the true spirit of what Seiko does for this divers community. We're looking at cushion shell for the turtles, very faithful reissue of the 6306, 6309. And of course, we have the SKX that's been discontinued 5-6 years ago, and this price is just being skyrocketed. Of course, that is purely due to the demand of the watch. You don't have to buy an SPB to enjoy the best out of Seiko. You don't have to buy an SLA for thousands of dollars to think that you are getting the best out of your box. No, you can walk away from the hobby of Seiko and Seiko collecting as a whole, as divers, especially when it comes to Divers 200, with this Black Turtle and this SKX Pepsi Bezel. Something black, very functional, that you can wear at really any environment. Of course, you have the SKX slightly smaller case at a 42 millimeters that goes on with you whether it's come to casual or even work environment. Of course, unless your work desires and requires anything much more significant when it comes to whether it's a price tag or impression, right? But when it comes to a hot working man, whether you're in a blue collar job or you get through your uni or you get through your first couple of jobs, you want to feel a sense of duty when you have the watch, the right watch on your wrist. Those two watches are everything you need. They are iconic. They're not perfect. There's nothing perfect about those two watches altogether. None of them has the sapphire crystal that most of us probably only get to know. See, here's the thing, guys. If you're new to the watch hobby in the last 24 months, unless you know Seiko was a brand, you probably don't even know Harlex crystal actually exists, and it been existing for tens of decades in the past, and actually help in progress the whole watch community in its market. You probably only know that every single watch that you buy needs to have a sapphire crystal. I'm not going to judge that, right? If that's your belief, of course, that belief is created and protected by the commercialized market and watch businesses we know. You probably don't even know that there is actually automatic movements that's in your automatic watch without a hacking function such as the SKX. When you put out the crown, you realize, hang on a second, the second hand is still ticking. And you can't even manual wind the watch. You have to do the shake. You have to do the shuffle. And it seems ancient. It seems too old to remember. Too much of a less importance to notice. Because the watches that are being advertised, that are being pushed along, that is being pushed out by the system. Every single one of them has ceramic bezel. Every single one of them has sapphire crystal. Every single one of them has the Seiko, of course, for the micro brands out there, the NH34 movements that we use the hacking and winding, manual winding movements. And anything for less than that doesn't even deserve your respect, not to mention your attention to purchase. In my eyes, that's all bullshit. That's all wrong. That's not correct. So back to what I was saying. guys, we have to stop buying one more watch just for the sake of buying it. Because truly, there are too much more to be said about this hobby. Rather than you go out there, spend your hard-earned money with whatever manufacturing watch brand out there just because they need to sell you one. The only thing watch brand out there is trying to do, believe me guys, I'm in a very much commercialized work environment where the true spirit of the capitalism is always to grow, right? Doesn't matter how much money or profit you make this year. Next year it's got to be at least 7, 8, 10%, 12%, 15%, 20% more growth. Of course, when we're talking about different aspect of technology, things become different. But majority of the company, the only thing they're trying to sell to you, I don't care what is a micro brands, if I don't care what it comes to a large in-house manufacturer such as Seiko, or even go up the spectrum all the way up to AP, Rolex, Omega, Cartier. The only thing they're trying to do is maximize the quantity by selling the most amount of watches to most amount of customers. Of course, they all pursue different profits, but they need to grow. They don't care who bought their watches. All they cared about is whether you have bought or not. No, you shouldn't think like that. You shouldn't think like that. We should put envy, we should put that greed of pursuing one more watch aside and look at ourselves and look at what watches we already have in our collection. What spirit, what advantages, what story, what uniqueness, what heritage that we can draw from it already. And sometimes that can be enough for your needs, for your desire, to have some of the most robust, some of the most well-made, well-respected watch that in the affordable segment that will last the test of time. Don't envy on other people's watch. Don't envy Felix's 24 watch collection. Just don't. Because if you don't put a stop on that approach and philosophy, that envy will start spreading in your life. I mean, what the next thing you're gonna envy about, right? Someone else is having a bigger car, more modern technology, better phone. I'm only have iPhone 10. He's got iPhone 14, bigger screen, higher resolution, better camera, whatever, right? He's having a better car. He's having better. How much more that philosophy will push in your subconscious in your life. His spouse is younger than mine, right? Hey, you know what? His kid is better than mine. His kid is doing better in the school. His daughter is doing better academic. His kids playing better basketball than mine. What else is that approach of envy is gonna eat up your life, right? His spouse is better. His spouse is younger than mine. Stop. Kill the concept. Of course, I know envy and jealousy, they're all part of our human nature. But you see, most of my audiences, most of our community members here, I assume we're in our sort of late 20s, maybe early 30s, right? Similar to my age. It is time for us to stand up against ourselves, against that sensation of urgency of purchasing something else because somehow you believing in the idea that buying one more watch is gonna make you happier. No, it's not gonna. It's not gonna make you happier. I've been there, done that. My collection is going from one watch, one Seiko 5 of 2019 to 24 watches in 2023, right? So a surplus, of course, including the ones that I sold and I still sort of gave to someone, maybe 25 watches over the last 4 years. You call it 4 years, right? That's 6 watches a year. That's every single. That's one new watch every 2 months. True, right? Then we're looking at 6 watches a year, 24 watches across 4 years. You don't need to buy one more watch every 2 months. Believe me, you don't need to. Guys, whether you like my message or not, I hope my message gives you peace of mind. Something different than another channel reviewing the product and make you have urgency to buy it, creates the competition, limited models. People start bidding on it. You start looking at every single hour. In your Facebook, in the forum, in the eBay, just try to search it up and buy it. It's all about buying one more watch. Here's my 2 cents from someone's being here and done that in affordable segments, buying 24 Seikos. Here's my message. Here's my number one lesson to you. You don't buy a new watch every 2 months. You don't need to buy a new watch because you think it's going to make you happier. No. Look within yourself, look at the collection that you already have, and see whether you maximize the spiritual aspects of it. I believe there are plenty of story, there are plenty of uniqueness that you can draw from them, and reproducing those positive energy back into what really matters to you, right? Do well at school, right? If my subscriber you is doing uni, buying watches is not your priority. Believe me, I know that in the same class, your colleagues, or not your colleagues, your classmate may be wearing something much more expensive, attract your attention, and saying, "Hey, look at mine, look at mine." And some of you believe to that concept, you start looking at it, and you feel ashamed because the watch that you have on your wrist. I know that's happening. I know for a fact that's happening, right? So, guys, that's my message. Hope you give you peace of mind, and of course, I hope you well. I hope you keep doing great things in your life. Of course, help others as often as much as you can. And no doubt, I'll see you and I'll talk to you in the next video. Bye bye, guys.